All right, I'm gonna go ahead and play this, and then I want to get y'all perspective.
Got to a point, I was 34. I said, "Look, I don't need no more boyfriends. I'm in my 30s and I wanted to do things God's way. I want to, get married. I'm ready for my husband, but I'm not going to date." And he
Yeah.
was like, "Well, how does that work?" I said, "Well, God is going to tell my friend when it's time that I'm his wife." And we did just that. The world is going to tell you no. Most men in the world are not going to understand that. That's why you got to align with a Christian man, an equally
Exactly.
yoked man. Work. I said,
Thoughts? Any thoughts on that?
I
I
think she did the right thing.
as
Oh my
as
bad.
it pertains to this whole Christian, I had this conversation with Jenna. I said, "What does it look like when God speaks to you?" Because she be talking about that all the time, and I don't get it.
What do you mean? She be talking about like from a Christian perspective type of thing.
And I was like, "What do you mean?" She's like, "Sometimes I just sit in my presence and God speaks to me." And I was like, "What the hell does that mean?" And I don't get
Peace,
it. I'm,
peace be
I'm like,
still.
I'm like, who are you talking to? Like, what it sound like? Like, I don't get it. Like, I get Christians say he talking to him, but I was like, I don't know. Like, how you know it's God? How you just know it ain't your own thoughts? Like, how
Yeah.
do you
But
mind?
your own thoughts is what?
Exactly, nigga. How do you know if it's God talking to your own
No,
thoughts?
but
Like,
what
what
I'm
you mean?
what I'm saying is what's your own thoughts, right? So can you hear without actually making a sound?
Yes.
Well, there it is. That's godly like.
Okay, so your thoughts. So how do you know that you're like? I don't, okay, that's fine.
That's what I'm
There's
just
no
saying. I'm saying
you
no
can't
matter what
you
way you try
can't
to
at the end of the
reference,
day you can't answer the question. Like you can't like with tangible evidence answer a question be like that was God talking to me, not my own thoughts. You can't answer that question.
your own thoughts is God though.
Jesus. Even
I
though
will say I will tell you this.
can I
Um
get my dad on? He's a 64-year-old Baptist pastor. Let's get him on the stream. He can mine this out for us.
some people have a gift, all right? And some people do have a direct line to, and I know some people not going to believe this, but I'm telling you it is real and it is true. I can't speak for everybody. I don't know about Jenna and all of this stuff. I don't know nothing about that. But I'm just telling you, some people have a direct connection to where they have the gift. It's almost like the gift of prophecy or um, the gift of being able to see. Like I remember, I'll tell you this. I remember going to church when I was younger, and it was people
Pause.
that could literally tell you what you did over the weekend. And I'm talking about directly. They could
Yeah.
straight up tell you and look over your life and the spirit to come on them and they could break down every single thing that happened over the weekend over your life.
But
Like they
Anton, there's
it
tons of
used to
people
be
that do that.
it's people. I remember going to church sometimes and it would be certain mothers of the church, and when people would come in, sometimes they wouldn't even want to come in the room because they would be like, oh, because they just would know that they did certain things, and she would deal, like, she would absolutely 100% reveal exactly what you've been up to.
Mm.
People used to be absolutely terrified of going to church sometimes because they didn't want to be accountable for some of the stuff that she would call them out for, and it would be deadly accurate. And so I know
Mm.
for a fact I have seen some of the most wild miracles that I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's nothing and nothing in my lifetime until I die. There will never be anything that somebody can tell me as far as God not being real. I know that God is real for a fact.
Well,
Yes,
So
sir.
I
in
I
my
mean I've
head,
seen it.
I
Go
think if
ahead.
the devil is real, God has to be real. That's what I kind
there
of
you go.
figured. Hmm.
Um there are tons of people that, that can do all that stuff. Like there's yogis and all types of monks and things like that. They can meditate and literally disappear, like literally disappear. So I think if you look at it like science wise, they always say we only use 10% of our brain anyway, right? And then if you look at it spiritually, a lot of people are not tapped in spiritually because I literally think you can do most of the stuff anyway.
Yeah, I think once you tap in.
If you listen to Christians, you're made in his image. If you listen to yogis or people who are in Hindu religions, um, if you can tap into your mind, you can unleash a lot of stuff. So
I agree with Eric Daniels too. He said it's too many. It is a lot of false prophets. It is a lot of
What
people
does
that's
that
out here.
Oh
mean?
my goodness.
Okay,
What
there's
does
a
that mean?
lot of people that do things in the name of God, or they have ordained themselves to be whatever it is that they say that they are, but they are not of God, but they've automatically, or it's some people that do it just for financial gain, right? They are not necessarily called to be in it or doing it for the right reasons. A lot of them are doing it because they want to leverage the position for self pleasure or self gain or all of that stuff. And so there are a lot of people, and but that's why the word says you'll know them by their fruit. There are a lot of people that are out here in the name of the Lord doing things, but they are not a representation of the church or God Himself.
That's a fact.
So you just
uh,
got to be careful with that. But there are
Also,
some real people that got some real gifts, and I'm telling you, it is real.
Also, the other thing is like just as real as it is to do good, it's real to do evil as well.
That's
Like so,
true.
you get all them people with them tarot cards and all that playing around with voodoo
But
and all that
tarot
shit. Like,
cards are tarot cards are not evil. It's the intention. Anything you do, it's the intention behind it, right? If you were to get in a car accident and you kill somebody, but it wasn't your intention, it's not
I,
evil. If you get in the car to go kill somebody with the car, it's evil.
well, I'm
You get
not.
what I'm
Well, I
saying?
won't say that
my
it's
my
evil, but what I'm saying is like that's up. Okay, so everything is spiritual, right?
Correct.
So once you start playing with certain spirits, regardless of what you believe, you on one side or the other. If you get
Right.
my
Well,
drift.
that's why I brought up the yogis and stuff like that, because it doesn't matter if you're a Christian, Islamic, like I said, Hindu. It doesn't matter, because at the you're going to be doing this. You're going to be doing the same thing. What I mean is by the same thing is by you're going to be putting towards the same energies to whatever your deity is. So
I,
you got to be careful with what you do.
That's
I
a
think
fact. Yeah,
any Christian that you would speak with would 1000% say all things tarot cards are evil and of the devil.
Yeah, well, many Christians also burnt people at the stake.
Oh, so you're
yeah.
not a Christian?
Those heretics. I mean, those are extremists.
Well, that's not no because God is a monster. Let's be clear. The God that all of y'all serve, we serve, he's a monster. He is the most violent God of all the gods, and it's fine.
But that's if you are walking a certain walk and you walking with evil. You know what I'm saying? You got to get. Sometimes you're doing so much evil that you got to get punished,
Well,
and
y'all
so the
gotta remember
punishment
that
is extreme.
it's a war.
Yeah.
It's a war
Oh, it definitely
between
is. It definitely is.
good and evil, right? And so in war, there are casualties, but at the same time, y'all got to remember that even when the word says that we're made in His image, that means that we feel some of the same things, right? When it say that God is a
Hmm.
jealous God and that He doesn't want you, but the context matters, right? So when it says God is a jealous God, that means that He's selfish about His people and He don't want you worshiping anybody else. He don't want you with nobody else. In the same way that we share the same emotions and that we don't want your chick with nobody else. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna feel some type of way about it. And so, when we talk about these things, you got to use it in context. But you also have to have the understanding to know why certain things are playing out the way that it's playing out. That's why love a lot of times can be defined differently depending on who you with. But love, for example, could be you chastising your child because you love them enough to know that this thing is going to be good for you long term, even though if it may make you feel bad at the time, because you have a genuine concern for your child. You don't want to see your kids cry. You don't want to see them suffer. But you are willing to make them suffer in order to ensure that they have the future that they're supposed to have. So the context matters, and that's what people are missing. A lot of times people will say stuff and they'll say it and it can be true, but it'll be a half truth, and the context will make it. You know what I'm saying? Will give more logic to it to where we can actually justify the action. Now, you
That's
don't
what
want to
people
lock
do in
nobody up.
politics.
You don't want to kill
Hmm.
nobody. But if I got to kill
Hmm.
you in order to ensure that you don't go over here and you massacre a whole bunch of people at this thing, then you
Yep.
better believe you going down, buddy.
Right. That's why I
That's a
said the
fact.
intention matters. That's why the intention matters. So when you're doing those tarot cards, the intention behind them matters, right? Anytime you've ever seen like witches, you always see the good witch and the bad witch, right? Because they're both witches, but they use their spiritual powers for what?
No,
So
I don't
that's
think
what I'm
it's no
saying.
good witches.
No, no. Okay, the word witch is a old English word. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff you got to throw out. You got to throw out, right? But we're gonna use that because we know English, right? But what I'm saying is, at the end of the day, your energy is about your intention. It's what you set forth. That's it.
So let me
So
bring it back to the original question because here, let me just go ahead and play it again for the people that just arrived.
To a point, I was 30.
Because it's logical for us to get derailed because we always ask questions and then it goes to other things, right? But the reason
Uh-huh.
that we initially got into this conversation was based off of this, right?
Got to a point, I was 34. I said, look, I don't need no more boyfriends. I'm in my 30s and I wanted to do things God's way. I want to, get married. I'm ready for my husband, but I'm not going to date. And he
yeah,
was like, well, how does that work? I said, well, God is going to tell my friend when it's time that I'm his wife. And we did just that. The world is going to tell you no. Most men in the world are not going to understand that. That's why you got to align with a Christian man.
exactly.
All right, so
My dad, growing up, he used to always tell us to pray for our future husbands and wives, and God will send them to us. Is what my dad used to say to us growing up.
no, I don't believe in that. I understand the intention, but I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that. Okay, I believe that the way that you show God that you love Him is by treating other people the way that you want to be treated, right?
Mhm.
So if I love you, I'm not going to steal from you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why I pray the prayer fervently. Forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. I have to forgive people, if I am to be forgiven according to how I forgive other people, then the way that God shows me mercy is how I extend it to the people that's around me. The only way that you can show that you love anything or that you are obedient is by treating the people in this world according to whatever it is that the scriptures say that you're supposed to operate by. So if that be the case, right, then I could pray, but at the same time, my actions is a reflection of my faith. Meaning that, and this might get a little bit deep, meaning that you are what you attract. If you want this great man, which is one of the reasons why I tell people don't pray for a husband, don't pray for a wife. If you want them, then you have to become a reflection of the thing that you're looking to attract.
Mm.
And then your husband will find you. And then you will be in a position or you will notice the woman that you're supposed to be with. And if you keep getting with trash dudes, or the only people that get with you is the dudes that want to knock you off and leave you for dead, then that is genuinely a reflection of who you are as a woman. So when I see a
I
lot of women then say, well, I can't find a man or this and that and this and that, I know that you have some flaws within you that you not sharing with me because the person that you're supposed to be with, if they are truly a person, of God, then God ain't gonna let them suffer at the hands of being with you when you're not the person that he really need. You fucked up. You toe up. You a messed up chick. You need some work. You got some stuff that you need to fix in your life. Because if God loved him, why would he send him to you? He loved him too. He loved him first. Because you of him. You of his rib. He came first before you. So why would God make him suffer by being with you as a woman? And so I've never personally believed that you have to pray for a spouse. I think you pray for humility. I think you pray for good character. I think you pray for wisdom, understanding. Those are the things that you pray for. Everything else will be added unto you because you will attract whatever it is that you are. So I've never believed that you had to pray for a spouse. I've never believed that ever.
It doesn't make any sense to, right? So
doesn't
if
make any sense
you're
to what.
to pray for a spouse, because if you are walking a certain way and you're actually stating what your intentions are, you're going to get it. I've never put forth an intention that I didn't get. So you don't need to sit there, because a lot of the times people don't realize when they stay stuck on something, you're actually putting resistance to it. So you need to go to the path of least resistance, right? If you're actually going to go and get,
Are you
you
a
want a man.
Christian? Are you a
No,
Christian?
not no, I'm not a Christian.
Okay, so if you're not a Christian, then prayer doesn't make sense to you at all.
Prayer does make sense because it's still
Then
No,
why
energy.
it's
not
not
praying
just.
for
It's
that?
not. It's
Prayer
not
does
just.
make sense.
It's not just single.
It's
Just
literally a
Christianity.
Prayer does make sense. I don't have to be
Everybody.
a Christian to
just not
Everybody
understand
for
ain't pray,
praying for
Quincy.
energy.
my
Hmm.
my brother's listening, and he said everything you just said, Anton, is incorrect.
Tell is
Call
he
in.
call did he call you or is he in the background?
No, he just I'm texting
He
him.
should tell him to call in. I ain't gonna I won't put him on the screen. He don't have to be on camera.
he's a he's my father's child.
I'm 100% correct. I'm
he's a minister.
and believe it or not,
Definitely tell him to
and
call in.
believe it or not, so am I. I have been ordained as a minister. I don't talk about it online. I don't speak about it, but I absolutely have been ordained to speak in churches across the world. I am 100% ordained.
No, this is that.
And I don't
My
again,
my
I don't
father's
talk
too
about it because I
pastor.
don't think that people can get it or understand it. But I would absolutely 100% invite him to step on this platform and tell me where I'm wrong, especially when it comes to marriage.
You gonna
Tell him
do
to
I
it?
hit
don't
the link. Tell him to hit
I
the
don't
link.
think I don't think he was talking about the marriage part. I don't think he was talking about the Bible aspect of the praying for your wife type thing.
Okay, tell him to hit the link then.
I don't think you need to do that.
Well, if you're not a Christian, then you can't have this conversation if you're in good faith if you're not a Christian. I'm
Yes, I
sorry.
can. That's just like saying if you
Anybody
don't
can
have
pray,
kids, you can't
man.
have a conversation about kids.
Who you praying about?
It
Who you
doesn't mean it
praying
doesn't
to?
mean I don't it
Who
doesn't
you
mean I
if you're
don't
not
know
a
the Bible.
Christian,
Hold
who
on,
you
hold on, hold
praying
on, hold
to?
on, hold on. It doesn't mean I don't know the Bible. I grew up in a Masonic family, so I know the Bible front and back. Okay.
No, okay.
On top of that, my dad is, my dad's family is Cuban, so they're Catholic. So I'm very versed in church. That's
You're
not my
versed
issue.
in church.
Yes, and I do
What
mean.
church? What church?
I just said that was Catholic, and then I said my mom's family is a Masonic family, so that means the Bible is the head.
The Bible is the head.
Yes.
I mean, what am I saying, Christian? Quentin. Quentin,
Yeah,
let me
that's a
ask you a
different
question.
Bible though.
Let me ask you a question, Quentin.
Huh?
That's a different
What'd you say
Yo,
to
Bible.
me?
your father is a pastor. Your
Mm-hmm.
brother is a minister.
Mm-hmm.
What
And I'm the
made you not?
fucking devil. I'm the freaking
Don't
devil.
say that.
Oh man.
You are not the
Why?
devil.
Now,
You
why
are
would you
not the
say that?
devil.
And how you gonna criticize Mika?
You're not the devil.
I'm not criticizing Mika. I'm questioning like what's up, Anton?
You're
I'm sorry.
not the devil. Number one, that's A. But B, what made you not follow on the same path as your brother and your father?
I've always been different. I've always been the black person of the family.
I got you. I got you. But yeah, tell your brother to call in. We ain't got to put him on camera. We just want to kick it.
He's
It's
listening.
crazy. Like I see like a lot of misconceptions, right? Because just like with anything else, people and their conspiracy theories and just spouting stuff that you don't really know about. None of the stuff that people put out about Masonic families and what they actually learn, a lot of it is false,
Mm.
right? And so instead of just asking, just come up with stuff. Just ask. I'm pretty open to talk about it.
Yeah,
But
my
a lot of the
uncle
stuff,
makes.
all the demonic stuff, I've never wished bad on anybody in my life.
No, of course that. No, no, no. That's the surface level of it though. I ain't gonna get into it on no stream. I ain't gonna lie.
Hmm.
So
Because
okay, but
I'm not gonna get into
let
it
me
on no
ask y'all a
But
stream.
that's the
question.
conspiracy side of it. I'm talking about like actually people who actually I don't practice. Just like I just said, I'm not a Christian, but I know it because that was my family's upbringing.
Do
Right, but
do
you're not gonna see the you're not gonna see like so you're not so because it's levels to this to that shit. You're
Mhm.
not gonna see certain ones. You're not gonna be
Yeah,
exposed to that. You know
my
what I'm saying?
my grandfather is a 32nd degree Mason.
And he showed you stuff.
Too much. I know a lot. And you don't want to talk about that on the stream. But
Exactly.
my point is, you learn a lot because you have to learn about other things, right? And so you end up learning a lot about different religions, how people think, and that's why I'm able to have different perspectives. And I have friends that are Christians, friends that are not Christians, friends that are, you know, from all types of religions, because I focus on the heart. I don't focus on what you choose to call, you know, your sacred place, your deity.
No, 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 and I respect that. But all I'm saying is that Bible is different, and that Bible is different. That's what I'm gonna leave it. I'm gonna leave it at that because I like you said, certain things you just don't talk about on stream. Just you just don't.
I know which one you're talking about, but you have to learn, you have to learn all four major versions of it, all the way down to the King James version.
do y'all think that she? All right, let's get back to the
I
original.
think she's older, and I don't think it's God talking. I think it's her age and life talking. I actually
Mm.
had this
Damn.
conversation.
She was
I had this
30 there.
conversation. I had this conversation with a chick the other day, and I'm like,
She
she's
was.
beautiful. I said, why are you single? And she's like, all these niggas in the streets. And I was like, I said, it's you. I said, your outcomes determine what you get, and all these niggas in the streets that be
Wow.
approaching you. I said, this is you. It ain't got nothing to do with niggas.
I
Mm.
don't agree with that all the time though. I don't agree with that all the time.
What's your
Disagree with
thoughts on it,
what?
Sonny? What's your thoughts on it, Sonny?
So so for one, like there's no guarantee that that woman right there is a reformed anything. She could just be a woman who she kept running into the wrong men. We can't act like every woman that continues that run.
You
I'm not gonna say continues
keep
that runs into the
running
wrong man.
to the wrong man. Say
Wait,
that.
wait, 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 wait,
Three.
wait, wait. We can't act like every woman that runs into the wrong man is always guilty. Now, it's some sort of discernment you have to have as a woman to find the
Mm.
right man. Sometimes it just ain't your time. She
When you
waited till
say
she was
keep,
30. She
She said
waited
she's
till she was
34.
32 and made a conscious decision. I'm not going to date anymore because maybe she
Mm-hmm.
was running into the wrong men. And that's a conscious decision that you got to make. Like as a man as well, you got to make this decision. You have to just
Mm-hmm.
straight up say, "Hey, I don't want to be messing with a whole bunch of different women anymore. I want to settle down. I want to find a wife." That's what you got to do. You're not gonna find a wife if you just like, oh, I'm gonna keep blowing through different chicks and hopefully I'll find one that make me want to settle down. It doesn't work like that. You have to be very intentional. She was
no,
intentional.
no. She's using God as a scapegoat. You were a whore. Now you're older and you don't want to be a whore anymore.
Wow,
That's what happened. Now you want to listen to
Quinn.
God. You busted wide open in your 20s. Now you're 34. Now you're like, I want a man. And but you're telling us it's God. That's what's
Well,
going on.
she's in her 40s now. I
Damn,
think she
bro.
was telling the story about when she was in her 30s and
Yeah, she was
how she
32.
got, oh boy. But I understand what you're saying, Quentin, but you just so, you harsh. You're a little
Shit,
harsh.
man. He
I'm
that
just saying.
motherfucker went all savage mode on her.
All
Like,
right.
damn, you ain't give her the
If
benefit
you
of
This
the
would
was
have,
doubt or
supposed to be
nothing.
an
well, I
icebreaker.
didn't listen to God, and now I'm listening to God. No, nigga, that ain't what was happening.
Damn, nigga.
But
You
I
ain't give her
agree
the
with what she
Benny at
was
all, bro.
saying. I do agree with what she was saying. Like, I don't think you should be dating because 9 times out of 10, y'all just doing whatever. Y'all playing house and all the other nonsense.
Yeah,
Um, I think I don't think men waste women's time. I think women waste their own time. I think most men make it abundantly clear, and you can just see like actions, what's going on, and we'll sit around and fuck you and do random house nonsense as long as you'll let us. You're the one. Y'all need the one to figure out what it is.
I agree.
If I only have you come over at nighttime and you head on out after we're done doing what we're doing and you think we're in a relationship, nigga, that's your fault, not mine.
I agree. I
That's
agree.
true. That's true.
That's a
Cause there's
I
fact.
some way
agree.
people's like, why do you treat your girlfriend? I was like, nigga, treat my girlfriend this way, nigga. We never even had a dinner together. What you talking about? Like your standard of you being my girlfriend is wild. If you think what we're doing is means you're my girlfriend.
But see, I say all the time, that's why I don't believe in girlfriend, boyfriend once you pass high school. I think either you single or you married because you know, listen, the one thing that y'all missed in this, in her whole statement, I'm gonna play it one more time and I'm gonna see if y'all can catch it this time.
Got to a point, I was 34. I said, look, I don't need no more boyfriends. I'm in my 30s and I wanted to do things God's way. I want to, get married. I'm ready for my husband, but I'm not going to date. And he
Yeah.
was like, well, how does that work? I said, well, God is going to tell my friend.
That means she already knows him. That means she's in the
Most
environment in his
women know
space.
the man that they are
Mm-hmm.
supposed to marry 10 times out of
Mm-hmm.
10. And
Mm-hmm.
more importantly, she said that it was her friend, meaning that it was a person that already was in her sphere that she probably should have been with the entire time while she was twirling around and making. And the only reason that the friend didn't know that he was in that position is because she already probably had been spinning him for the entire time that they had already known each other in order to date guys that she wasn't supposed to be with in the first place. I say it all the time. Women know the man, either they pass him up or they know the man that they were supposed to be with, but they think that he gonna be there after she get done doing what she want to do. After she do her career, after she do her out here with the dudes that she not supposed to be with. And she said it. She said, God is gonna tell my friend, and all of a sudden she was serious and she took that serious and she like, oh no, I'm not even gonna date. I'm gonna reserve myself. I'm gonna put myself in a position and then win when it comes to this guy that I already know was my husband. They know, they know, and every time, more times than not, they put themselves in a position to hopefully, some women still come back from it, most don't, but they know who the person that they were supposed to be with way before that they ever wind up getting married or not, bro. They know. And she said it.
Yeah.
That's the part that resonated with me the most was the fact that
Yeah.
she already knew and the God is gonna tell her friend.